publish it into Hugging Face, but I was successful to get an MLX optimized version of Nematron. So
Oh,
the
please
initial
send me
file
the link.
size.
I need to start following you on the Hugging Face. I'm not that much still into training my models, but that's really close on my pipeline. So that's the next step, because it was nice playing with the big guys, but now it's something to own your AI, as uh, what's the Mitko Vasilev constantly repeats. You probably, I don't know if you follow him on LinkedIn, but I love the things that he's sharing and how he is experimenting with these models.
Which one? Which one?
Mitko
Who?
Vasilev. So
Could you share me? Oh, I know
I
him.
will send you his
He's a CTO. He's a
yeah,
CTO.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah,
CTO.
yeah, yeah.
I know him.
From Bulgaria. Yeah, yeah. He's let's say close to me, country next to mine. Yeah.
He's an awesome person. Like, there's not that many people
Mm.
like who are like that bold to advocate for open source. Like for me, open source has been a crucial part when I worked in so many banking, financial enterprise solutions, because like there's this like this factor of like you can't get your solution down anytime, and how could it, and you can't dealing with social security numbers all the every single time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working with Nematron. And another thing which I had is another, like last time I did a demo on simple agents, right? I was able to do, and one person asked me like, hey, in my company, we use Langfuse a lot for human in the loop. So Langfuse is another open source telemetry project, a
Yeah, yeah,
wonderful project. And I was like, could you build integrations to me? Because we also want to have SMEs to evaluate,
yeah.
but we
Mm-hmm.
have a Langfuse setup very well done, and we are paying an enterprise license to it. But we would like to use your project, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?" I just 2 days ago I released one version which works on edge functions. That's like Vercel and Cloudflare workers, and also works on my God, it works on Langfuse also on
Uh-huh.
OpenTelemetry. So got those two versions just published.
Nice. Yeah, we will need to talk more on that, observability and explainability part of the agents, because that's one of
Yes,
the most important things related to increasing the trust in what they are doing.
yes. It's just for me. I just want to make it as plug and play as possible, as easy to plug and play, because I don't want to go to for a developer to go and do all the mumbo jumbo. You just need to give your API keys, give me the URLs. I'll start dumping logs.
Oh, we are close to top of the hour. Let's see. Rob managed to join also.
Hey
Uh,
Rob, hi
Hey,
everyone.
Rob, will
Anything
you
that
give the
is
intro?
in Ringflow and vectors
Ooh.
optimized for CPU-centric computing, or sometimes referred to as SIMD, which allows for sort of parallel computing without huge GPU resources. There really
Ongoing. Oh, nice, nice. Okay, it's top of the hour, and looks like it's my time to welcome everybody, as most of the crew is in Vermont, and right now, as we just saw 15 seconds ago, there is a live presentation by Ruben for the part of the community that gathered there. So we will do our best to showcase other stuff while the guys are in Vermont. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Craftsman, how are you?
Sorry, I'm doing good, Dragon. How are you? And glad to be here. Thank you for hosting everyone.
Yeah, glad to help while guys are being busy in another place. Let's see who we have for tonight. This evening, I think Rob mentioned that Vincent from our parish chapter should present. I don't know if Vincent has already arrived, or if he's not here, we can check.
I think I saw him. Yeah, he's here. Hey Vincent.
Hey guys, there is not so many of us tonight, but we will do our best to keep up the event ongoing. and let's see what everybody's been doing and what would be the topics you would like to share. I know that big thing happening right now is guys in Vermont are having a chance to use the Cognitum 1 and Cognitum seed. I think that I saw that Roof posted that he is bringing a whole pack of devices with him, so everybody can try to play with that one. So I think orders are live since last week. It was possible to order new Cognitum device. Let's maybe share for those that are not familiar, and until somebody else jumps in. So this is the thing that I'm talking about, the world's first agentic processor. And it's available. It was released on the Pi Day last Saturday, so yeah, a week ago. And it's a new class of self-learning system on a chip. But I'm not Ruv, and I cannot give you so much details about this. I can only share the link with you so you can go and visit and read more. And if you're interested to buy, you can even order now. Okay. Who do we have here? Is anybody ready to share something from their perspective? I know I had a busy week. I had one event on Wednesday for Ministry of Testing doing the master class of changing the mindset from AI copilots to AI as a workforce. So harnessing the agentic engineering in the world of quality assurance and quality engineering. And it went quite well. So I can share news related to my agentic QE fleet unless somebody else has something else to share with the community. I know that I already did several times of showing what's capable, but I can demo something, or if somebody has some questions related to how to utilize the QE fleet, you can use this time now. Let's have like ask me anything on the agentic QE fleet topic. That's the thing where I can help you the most.
Martin, why couldn't you do a demo for agentic QE fleet? I don't think, at least I haven't seen it in the Friday's Hackerspace demo.
Ooh, you didn't see it in the action, you know, live
I
working.
missed it on Fridays.
Okay,
I've
so
seen it on my local, not on Friday.
okay, we can do that. But in order for this to be even better, Craftsman, select a GitHub repo you want us to test. So select an open source repo you would like us to analyze.
You know what? I'm going to give my repo, my simple agents repo, because that's open source.
Ooh, nice. I'm always eager to help community to check what's happening. So give me a second. Yes? Anybody wanted to ask something? Let me start the Visual Studio Code. It's started. Okay. Okay, maybe a short intro how to set up your project to use the agentic QE fleet. So, let's start from the beginning. when you're into terminal, all you have to do is, because this is available as an npm package, npm install, or short I -g for global, if you want to install it globally. As I'm using Visual Studio Code instance from DevPod and Docker combination, I'm install it globally. And after that, you need to do AQE init --auto in order to initiate the fleet in your project. That will create a number of things in your root of the project. Will create .agentic QE folder. It will, if .cloud folder does not exist, it will create that folder with some agents, skills, helpers, and other things related to the cloud code configuration. Yes, somebody question or a hot mic. And yeah, and it will start the agentic QE MCP server. So, okay, looks like my terminal froze. Next one. So let's try cloud MCP list.
Hey, Dragon, quick
Yes.
question. Why why MCP? I know like Ruven, like there is the huge movement to get
To
away from
move, but
just
it's
CLI.
still, you know, let's say I didn't move from there. I have a CLI. So
Okay. Well, you do have a CLI, but then
yeah, so the CLI is the main is the main interface. MCP is really a wrapper around the CLI.
Okay, because I usually what I'm doing, I'm making the pairs of the skill and the agent for each CLI. So like, so usually the skill, yeah, it's very lightweight. It's like 30 tokens or something, and it just when it just basically tells when it's needed, and once it's needed, it's
yeah. I did some refactoring of the skills in the release yesterday. Let me show you. As there were some new, there were some new report that I read. Give me a second.
Because this repo is the one I'm stealing from a lot, like so.
I think it's this one. So I did a big change related to how the skills are invoked based on the lessons from Building Cloud Code article. So I used that, and not only that, but the learnings from my personal self-learning system I used to collect the data from multiple projects that I'm working on. And based on those two, let's say, starting, I did some changes. This is also like a big thing, gotcha sections in the skills. So that's something that Anthropic team recommends to be added to the skills.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then, because that's also, as you are using the skill and you notice the misbehavior of the skill, so the stuff that it's not doing properly, then you feed it back as a gotcha. So that's like a self-improvement for the skill.
Okay. If there is time, I can show something like the mind.
Yeah, of course.
After your presentation, yeah, I don't know how the schedule is.
So let's
yeah, I just didn't want to derail you.
Did you, Crossman, did you send somewhere the link to your repo? There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. Okay. And I will just use one of the, let's use this. So let's modify this because I'm trying to test as much as I can using the same prompt to compare with and I did with the different models comparing how the skills or the Claude code and my skills are behaving with the Opus model, GLM models, and Quen models. And I even have a GIST reporting that somewhere. So we will call this is Craftsman. Craftsman. Okay, simple agents. Okay. Craftsman SA simple agent folder. Okay, then let me grab the link. So I will show you. So okay, first clone locally in temp and full quality of score for simple agents. Simple agents project. Code quality, complexity, code smells, security, performance, QX, product test analysis. Okay. Do you want maybe a test plan and a test strategy, Craftsman?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Like one
Okay.
difficulty I'm facing at the moment is
Create a test strategy and test plan using product factor analysis. Okay. Okay, now I'll let it run. And okay, I will create a new branch. So this will be AI hacker space March 2026. Okay. So yeah. Let's see if it will invoke. Yeah. Last time I changed the order. I'm noticing that Claude is starting to, or not starting, is behaving differently, also depending on the order of words I prompt. And let me see now if it will invoke everything as I expected to invoke. But any questions while this one is starting to do? So you saw the prompt. Let me, maybe I can make this bigger. Okay, nice. It is starting to initialize the fleet and checking the memory store. So, okay,
Hey,
I'm getting the expected behavior. Yes.
Cool. Hey, so you always explicitly ask or put in the prompt then to have the QE queen?
If I want to do analysis that also requires some level of coordination and let's say a final report or like executive report or something like that, I'm doing it like this.
Cool.
So yeah, as you see,
I think this would be cool if you could make it as a custom command, right? Like we could, instead of typing the code, you could give a template of codes and we can just do slash executive report and has the
yep,
your
yeah.
prompt preloaded. That'd be
So
amazing.
this is for me, you know, I have this kind of commands, but this is for me showing you the prompt because I know the biggest value is in seeing how I'm prompting for the stuff. And I'm
Agreed.
hearing that also, people want to, most of the things that they are interested in, how do you invoke this? So this is one of the example that I used now on the multiple repos. So you see what's happening. So let's go, because the fleet needs to
Dragan,
be initialized. Yes?
Dragan, do you have to have the Cloud Flow installed before
No,
you installed? Oh,
no.
okay, good.
I
Because I
I
just looked
have
it
it
up.
in my stack. I use it for the research, planning, development. So for the phases that are where RuFlow agents or Cloudflow, previously Cloudflow agents are, better. That's why I, created QE Fleet, so I can have the set of agents and skills to check what other agents are doing. But not only that, but to help on any existing project that is in any phase of the SDLC to surface the informations related to the quality characteristics of interest to stakeholders. So whatever is of your interest in your context. And this is really me trying to condense what I see is the where should be the quality and how the quality can be induced in any phase of the process.
Right.
So the fleet,
I'm liking it because it's exactly got the, you can see over here, right? It has the
yeah, it
classes of the
already
right
found,
files.
what's your language. So if you see, so this is, the memory store, because it uses the memory. This is my, let's say, working production environment. So I have a lot of memory saved and patterns already learned by the, let's see if the system will behave and open the database. So based on, this is the root vector on top of the
Wow.
SQL Lite. And you see, this is a couple of months of working in the system. So yeah. Okay, some tables are remnants from the V2, but yeah, min cut is also interesting. No healings, yeah, no alerts, just the actions. So nice. Let's check. Yeah, some trajectories, some patterns learned all the way. Yeah, so collecting and then reusing that, because in the hooks, so in the settings, I'm using also rules approach, but using hooks for, I created like one, and okay, as this is my development, so you will get here MPX agentic QE on your, when you install the version. This is my local environment, so I'm testing it as I'm using it while I'm developing it. So that's why it's targeting my local, but this is CLI command hooks. So it will call at a certain action inside the cloud. It will invoke different hooks that will enable system to learn, and yeah, interesting things. So you can, after AQ init dash auto, you can check the configuration that you will get in the.
Dragan, I think
Yes.
you're very much mixing the technicalities of how the system actually works with how it works for the user.
Yes.
Maybe it would be better if you just went through
Oh,
the
back to the user.
experience
Back to the
and
user.
then
Okay. Okay.
then looked at the other layer.
Okay. So, the agents are still working. Okay. Security agent completed. So maybe from user perspective, user has available, and maybe it's better than to show it here. So agentic. So for those who would like to learn more about how to use the QE fleet, and if their current processes are ready for using agentic approaches, I suggest first going here. So let me share this in the chat. QE means quality engineering. It's not quantization error, sorry. So in this, as I come from the quality world, I used to run quality assurance and quality engineering in for the last 13 years. When I joined the Agentics Foundation and started, applying these principles, I decided to adopt the pact framework that Ruven coined for the agentic engineering and extend it through the quality lenses. So you have here also like an assessment to see where you are, some implementation patterns, workflows you can adapt, a list of all the agents available with the details and skills. So for user, I would suggest, come to the agentic-qe.dev and start from there. Vlad, do you have some questions?
No, I don't. I mean, I have questions not about this. I mean, first of all, I can show you my way. Like, I mean, you haven't done yet.
Yeah,
and
this will take a couple of three more agents. Okay, couple of more agents.
Okay.
We
So
can. Yes.
Yeah, so while we waiting, let
Mhm.
me ask something, because maybe if you and anybody else on this call were interested in collaboration, because I brought a topic millions times here and in other forums. So it seems there is no really way, like using the old frameworks, there is no way to tell, like if you have agentic, so not the QE, but the agentic sort of development system, like Ruflow or like anything else, right? Like mine, everybody has one. So if you change something in it, right? How do you compare the output, whatever that system it created, right? How do you tell that this, after you made the change to the prompts, how is the new system is better than the before you changed it? And it would be nice if it would be single number, right? So you just have a score. So I was trying to look. So the reason it doesn't exist, yes, because it was very expensive before to create the same systems to do this experiment with people, right? Because you need a team of engineers. First of all, it's not very even controllable, right? You have team of engineers, you give them like requirements and
And
whatever
when they
guidelines,
know that they are
standards.
being measured, they will change their behavior. That's
Yeah, and
also a
it's
thing,
just very expensive. You need to have
Yeah.
like team of engineers like that. You give them requirements and guidelines and produce a system, right? Then you have to somehow erase their memory, get the same team of engineers, you change the guideline, and then say produce the system again, and then you compare like which one is better. That was like impossible to do now. Now it's trivial. The only limiting factor right now is the cost of tokens, essentially, right? And you just I'm looking at maybe creating some kind of metric to measure that. So like that you look at the existing system, Because I mean, we can start with the combining what existing. So there was that McCabe metrics. There was sort of like whatever your framework's using, but you sort of somehow come and whatever the Sonar Cube, they actually abandoned that because they said that they, like I think in version 4, they had all kind of metrics. They were called like class cohesion.
But yes, but those are, you know, like let's say white box analysis, so code level analysis, right? So we are talking now about like a static analysis of the code, like a code quality analysis with the, let's say, current generation of tools available, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, so I'm interested in both. I'm basically interested in a number, like if this system is better. But one thing is
better, you know, based on which quality characteristic.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there was very, very old things from 1950s that was became Toyota quality management. There was this I think it's called 8 dimensions of quality. I have a talk about 5 years ago. It's basically, it goes with consistency. It's
quality characteristics, you know, that were defined. Oh, I have a presentation related to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is, I think, like recognized 8 dimensions basically on that. Right?
Let me see. Give me a second. Just a second. That's. Let me just remember. Testing for developers. Just give me a second. Like testing for. Oh, there. This is a presentation I was giving to many development teams because when we talk about quality, there are multiple dimensions of. So this is like a first model, you know, of the, you know, when we are talking about the quality. So you have like a McCall model from 1977. That's like product revision, product operation, product transition. That one, right? You were talking about that one.
Exactly. I think there was like.
And next one is the ISO, you know, 9126. That's the related to the product quality. And there is new one, you know, 25010. So that's the from the 2011. That's the performance, efficiency, reliability, functional stability. So this is the probably one you were talking about.
Exactly. That's the one I'm looking for because there are some things like you have security. There is very important, and everybody complains about agentic code. Is if you have established system, how easy it is,
you know,
to,
but
like,
then there are things that are not standardized like that. Let me just visit this link to show you. So because this is too much to be on this screen, but I need to show you like this. We just visit this. So this is a list of that was developed by one of the, let's say, members of the context-driven school of testing. They define their own set of quality characteristics. That's why when we are talking about the quality, we can observe the quality really through different perspectives.
Exactly. And some have to be measured from existing, you know, system,
yes,
right?
but this is the one that I like the most by Gojko Adžić. So when I talk about quality, I'm talking, okay, you know, look at the functionality. Is it deployable? You know, you know, the basic things working. Then performance, security. So that's like a comparing to the Maslow's ladder of needs for the humans. So on the right side, if you are familiar, you're probably familiar with the Maslow levels of, you know, human needs. So, you know, you have psychological safety, then, you know, like safety. There are needs that you need to satisfy as a human in order to reach higher levels. We can observe the quality in the same way. So after we define this, and most of the quality, when I talk with the people in the industry that are from the development perspective and engineering, they will stop here. So they will stop when they reach the performance and secure. They, you know, we need to push the focus more if it's usable and is it useful to the users? Because if it's not, you know, it will not be successful, and we can, you know, throw away that application. Because if it's not useful, user will not use it. We can create a feature that based on the quality characteristic from 2011, if we look at all of these, they can be satisfied 100%. But if we are not solving, you know, and creating a useful application to the user, then it's not of value really to whoever is doing that, right?
Yes. Okay, so that's that's one important way to look at it. Another one is sort of operational, right? It's
but I understand metrics, how we can, when we have something automated, that's been a problem, you know, I see in industry like the last 30 or more years, part of the testing process was people were trying to automate things that can be defined algorithmically and put in steps. So, you know, those like test cases, you know, writing test cases and things. And then those test cases started to be automated on unit level to assure, right, that the units of like functions, modules itself are doing what they're intended. So that's your like a first layer, first quality net that you are applying when you are doing proper approach to coding. So you need to have certain level of unit tests. Next is integration tests.
Yes, and most people kind of stop right there. I mean, they haven't, but that it's observing the system. They're not looking at how easy to make the change, like what's the cost of running the system, like on so the cost of running system, it's meaning that you developed some accounting software, like deployed it to like millions of users, right? Next year the tax code changes, like how easy it is, like
to maintain, you know, that's the maintainability. That's also one of the quality characteristics. How testable is the software?
Okay, exactly. So what I'm looking at, so if anybody interested in collaborating on that, and create something because you get the score, and basically you can just create one number from that if you just assign the weights, right? So it's a vector, and then you just weight like different aspects of it.
Something like this.
Score, but it's out of 10. No, it's not.
Yeah, you know, we can define whatever. So this is like an example.
These are actual scores, but then you have like the weights vector that says like, for me, security.
Yes, I have that in some places. I need to check.
So if somebody like, if you can create a tool that just like you run against the code base and like that does this. So it has to be run both against the code base and over historical period, right? Because like, so once you deploy the system, you still have to observe it.
But that's, you know, that's the most important part. Collecting the data in production, you know, observability. I really like what Charity Majors is doing, that with defining the observability V2. You know, it's not like only 3 pillars. It's really, you can ask questions about your system without needing to change the system in order to get the information about it. So this is using the OTel or other available observability tools to collect the traces about the things what the system is doing.
No, I was thinking taking next step further. You observe your engineering department, and like, so when the new request comes in, like how fast, because that's a technical, that kind of measure.
That's like a DORA metric, how fast you react to the, you know, to the issue, right? That's like that medium time to recovery, or like a medium time to react to the issue or something like that.
No, but it's not the broken issues, because what happens is like a standard one, right? When you start developing your project, right, you develop, your velocity is probably like 10,000 because you have 0 legacy code, right? So the instant you deployed something, right, velocity basically just drops like by the factor of 10, because you cannot
sorry, Vlad, why do we still, you know, at the velocity? Why are we not focusing on the outcomes?
I mean, not the, I mean, velocity, maybe it's not the right.
That was, you know, that's the part
Yeah.
of the, you know, how,
Okay.
we were measuring the performance of the engineering teams, like burn down in the sprints. So
No, no,
what's the
no.
velocity of the
I
team, or
did not
that, or
mean
not that?
that I did not mean that velocity. It's
Uh-huh.
basically, it's how, like, what does it take you to, like, ship a new feature or make a change, right? There is change request. So it's not something breaks. It's like there is regulation changes, there is like new protein got discovered or something like, so your system has to change, but you cannot change it without like breaking. So you have to be worried about breaking existing functionality. And that's
Regressions.
the more complex system you put in, the data's time is like increases and the costs, like, because there is more, you have more to test, more to assess. So that's a metric basically. And properly engineered systems, they are easier to, like, so if you start piling code on top of each other, like at some point you get to like technical bankruptcy, right?
Yep.
You're
Too
not
much
able to
technical
finish.
debt. Yeah, you cannot
Yeah.
continue.
So I was, yeah. So if anybody like interested in collaborating, developing, like,
Count me in.
Okay, yeah. So okay, yeah, and I guess everybody on this call, if you just find me or Dragon
So
on.
yeah, let's check. So I will
Yeah,
commit this, Craftsman, and you will have the all the analysis from all the agents available.
Would really appreciate it. I would like to review it.
And yeah, you need to do the review definitely.
Yeah.
But you have your strengths. You have some risk heat map. This is applying the heuristics from the rapid software testing school developed by James Beck and Michael Bolton, SFDPO, that is analyzing the product through different lenses. So this is like a heuristic to remember easier, like a structure, function, data, interfaces, platform, operations, and time. And then you get like a test strategy where you should focus your tests and testing not only adding the automation layer, but what to explore you as a human after that. And so yeah, I will ask now agent to commit this to your.
Hey, Dragon, another
Yes.
question about this. So you're looking at one code base, but do you have anything, or have you thought of doing, if you in a large organizations you have like, I don't know, like from 20 to hundreds of systems that kind of need to collaborate together, and sometimes you want to create libraries from code or like do things. Do you look at you and have something that looks at entire code base?
Cross like a big mono repo with multiple projects in
I
it?
mean, not necessarily monorepo. I mean, monorepo, you can have individual repos, but it's basically, I guess it's
like to
measuring the
collect the
cohesion.
data patterns in between those projects, or what?
Yeah, because when you sort of, that's one of the challenges, so like constantly having multiple things when you have multiple systems that need to work together.
I'm I'm working on that, but
You're working on
yeah.
that. Okay, good. So I guess we think alike. So that's
create a new issue in simple agents. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. In simple issue. Sorry. In simple agents repo with summary and a link to gist. We want to help craft okay. Next, Vlad. While these agents are doing this, I will share the later the links in the chat. Somebody asked about the link for what? Sorry, Michael. Something that I shared, the presentation about the quality.
I think the document link. No, the doc link where contain the prompt.
Yes.
With the prompt. Okay. Okay. I will share the prompt in the chat. because yeah, that
I
I
think
will
it was
continue
Google Docs. Something on the Google Docs that you shared. I think it was about the
with the prompt.
no, it was on Google. It was a link on Google Docs. It was on Google about Google Docs.
That okay. I will now show the screen
About the
again.
models, yeah, but I think it's fine. I took a screenshot anyway.
This one, testing in action, that one.
Let me just have a look.
If you can see, you know, I'm showing it to see if this is the one.
Okay, my screen has disappeared. I'm just give me a second.
Oh, I'm not sharing. Sorry, it didn't
Oh yeah,
disappear.
don't
I'm
share.
not
Yeah,
sharing. Sorry.
I think so. Yeah,
I am sharing it now.
yeah, this one. Yeah, this is
This
the
one I will share. Okay, no
All right.
problem.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Share. Vlad, you wanted to share?
Yeah, I want to share something about. I mean, are you done with yours? I
Yes,
guess.
you know, I will share the
Okay.
links later, so yeah, you can
So
share.
I usually, when I'm present here, like it's the second time, I never come prepared. So just I kind of apologize. So you were talking about this gotcha thing, right?
Yep.
So what I usually have is, so this, I was trying to look for some workflows that have this gotchas phases, right? So this is how my standard one is like. So it's like I use system, I guess, I know, similar to Roof Code, but this is guided basically. I presented it last, like I think a month or 2 months ago. So it's a guided workflow system. It goes through different phases. So you like, this is the example of stuff that, so there is a quality stage. So we basically developed some changed code that actually ran all this, like the quality stage, it committed. And then what happens, I have a specific, so it commit updated the plans. Wait, hold on, sorry. Yeah, sorry for scrolling back and forth. Let me find it. We just had it right. So it goes to quality. It proposes. Okay, so it's right at the bottom. Okay, here, right here. So there is at the end of each session, there is this special step. It's called reflection. It's kind of like if you come from Agile, like it's a sprinter's perspective, it basically
Yeah.
looks through the session and it seems what went wrong during that session. Right, so it's a special things, and then you discuss with the user. So this one is the one that it basically says there was like a meaty phase, and it found problems. So you can actually, it reflects on itself, and it says like, hey, like this is the problems we encountered, and this is the. You can also tell it what to capture. This is an example when there is not nothing to capture because even good recovery from the tracks. So this is example. I was trying to find a good one, like, and this one I actually have mine because you have to wait for agentic runs for a long time. It also teaches me Turkish. Like while it works, like it's a dual purpose. It develops code and it's like a Turkish tutor at the same time. Like so, it's that's why the things. But basically, so this is example when there was the problems were found. And that way, so you and I think I showed like at the moment how it works, how the whole system's set up, because it has the plans and it has the guidance sort of works, like how things should be done. So that's what reflect phase does. It's basically, it says like in this case we used the wrong it was actually trying to deploy to it actually did not have a correct EKS cluster name. So it was like it was just trying to deploy, and the deployment failed because the like it was like incorrect.
The
right?
name was incorrect.
Yeah, the name was incorrect, and basically I said yes, we need to capture it so that doesn't happen again. and then it actually went and it started, like I have this code author, and it basically changed the C-spell and it changed the cluster names, like, and then after that it commits, and I can show you like what underneath, like the guts of it. Okay, so this is how my sort of system works, right? So like it's driven by this patterns folder. So I mean, this is a standard cloud folder, so it has agents and skills. And what's not standard, it has this pattern folder. And in the pattern folder, you have this the workflow stages, and this is what reflect actually. This is exact prompt for reflect. It's a 5-step process, right? It's so this is when it gets invoked, like after you commit worked, and then like you tell it you have to talk to the user, because before it was just kind of reflecting, updating without talking, and just
so you're here on purpose invoking human in the loop. So
yes,
like
because involved, because you
yeah.
kind of observing. I mean, if you drop this like thing, it would not like it would just self-reflect. And sometimes it was recording things that like I don't find useful, and sometimes it is like. But if you want to have completely self-reflection, it might be useful in some things. And that's basically, yeah, this is like what it does. You agree on learnings, and then you invoke the skills. You actually go and then you update the destination site, so you update documentation and everything. And what it actually updates, so it updates UIDR documents and plans, but then there is this pattern directory. So for example, like when you like how you
this is your set of golden examples and
these
patterns
are
for
not even
skills to
golden.
use. So very
These are not golden examples. So like what you seen before, like in the previous one, there is this agent. So I don't let the LLMs I don't let Claude write the code directly. So it has to go through this agent. It's called the code author agent, right? And so in this point, the code, this is exact prompt for it, right? It needs to declare its intention, and it needs to go and look for the patterns, essentially, right? Like it needs to like, so that it invokes all this like agents to see
different
what,
skills
yeah,
are invoking different agents
yeah.
for
So there is
different
a guide.
phases.
So that guides, like, so the guides are the ones that actually, so the agent doesn't really know like exactly what it needs, like which skills it needs to need. It just says like, hey, I'm working on the data pipeline, right? Or I'm working on the like something else, like. So there is a guide agent that actually reads those, and it knows like which it actually it's driven by. There is a manifest file somewhere here, like it's I mean it's somewhere here, right? But basically you know what, it's right here. So this
It's
is
on top.
always changing, so like, so there is a manifest file, there's a registry. It actually says, we're working on Terraform, we're working on HTTP service, like what to read, right? So it's a kind of hierarchical system, so like, and sometimes like when you're working on HTTP service, they're different when you work in Python or you work on Rust or in Java, like, so they're like, so there is a general things how you develop HTTP service, and then the language specific ones. And what that reflect does, it basically it goes and it edits this thing. So
But that manifest is listed in your Claude MD, or you ground it when needed. Call it.
No, my Claude MD is very like minimal. It's like it basically all it says.
Or
It
the
says like,
skills know that they need to read the
yeah.
manifest.
So my Claude MD is like literally. I don't think it's not visible here, but because this is like a weird monorepo.
Okay.
But all it does, it's essentially it like enforces, so like you say hello to it, so like that people like polite to it, and then invokes this skill after that, like, and this is the one that actually drives everything. And in here it's this is that steps I said, like, and that is actually, this skill does not have the workflows. The workflows kind of assembled on the fly, like, so if you look at the patterns, like, so because there are different workflows defined. So for example, let me expand this a little bit, right? So the way, so for example, we developing the new feature, right? So for the new feature, you have to gather requirements, you have to architect, you have to make sure implementation ready.
So you mapped
run
your
validate.
SDLC here, really.
Well, Yeah, it's kind of like SDLC, and it became like not even English. It became like a programming things like. But what this states things do like, because for each things like, so if you gather requirements, right? So this is how you gather requirements essentially, right?
Okay.
So this assembles
how
on.
do you validate requirements?
How do I validate requirements? Actually, don't.
Do you
I
have
mean,
you know, something that does verification or some, you know,
they have actually no.
value?
I do validate. Yeah, there is the
Yeah.
validate. Oh, I mean how I validate
So
the
there is like
system.
for the requirements, you should also validate the requirements if they are done by, again, you know, good
Oh
practices
yeah,
in the
yeah.
industry. Yeah.
That's what exactly this
Ah,
one.
this one.
So
Okay, 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 okay.
yeah, you do. So it
Mm.
actually it validates this bot actually the Spark. So I don't use completely roof system. I create
Mm-hmm.
the Spark, and let me see if I have the ready set up one. Like let me see. Let me see. Yeah. So what's the good one to show? No, I mean, actually, even this one, right? So there is a Spark, and for the Spark, there is the implementation, like, or, like plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Spark is basically, it has all your diagrams, like everything, right? It
Mm-hmm.
does not tell you how you actually do it. It just tells you
Mm-hmm.
like what needs to be done, right? And then you make the implementation plan with the phases
Mm-hmm.
that you actually
Go and execute against. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
you go and you execute. So that is actually created automatically from the Spark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually that launches the daily workflow, and like your like it basically there is a special workflow that reads this plan, and it says like, okay, this is the phase. You can actually put like a blockers, like say like this phase needs to be done before another one. My recent things like this week I did is like you can run the if they're independent phases, they run independently basically, and it pushes the changes. Like this one, you probably can't
Like git
because this is.
trees or what? Or like, or
Hmm?
just see, like using the git tree, work trees, or the standard,
Not even Git work trees.
just the commits.
It creates completely separate like checkout of repo, like with
Aha,
complete
aha,
on a
aha.
completely separate host on EC. So it
Complete
creates
new
a complete
instance. Aha. Okay,
new
okay.
instance on EC2. It checks out the repo. It starts a completely new branch, and it picks up the phase, and it basically starts going at it, and then it pushes the branch back to the main one, like so there is a yeah. But that's yeah, that was sort of like my take on the gotchas, because that way you don't need to record the go like you don't need to edit the skills. Like actually, I don't edit. I haven't. I mean, I do edit the skills all the time when I want to change how the system works. Like, but the daily things, like I don't like. If I discover some problem, I just tell the agent, hey, like this is the problems we
Mm.
found, and it just goes edits the past. So sometimes it's like a wide, like so when there is incorrect cluster name, it's basically I added the new AWS cluster. It was not in guidance document, so I had to um, add it
I have some
to the
production
guide.
monitoring agents that will, or what's that one? Like infrastructure that will detect that if the problem is with infrastructure, and
Yeah.
yeah, or with the
Oh,
test.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah. Where do you have those? Like, is it in agentic
yeah,
QE?
it's all in the AQE.
Ah,
So
okay. Yeah,
check
that'd be
there.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
and
the
some skills there, you know, especially the QCSD production one. So
I
you
made
need to check
so I
those. Yeah.
made a couple tools. I'm not sure they in this one. It might be. I made a few tools that
Yeah. Let me just check if I know that
yeah.
Vincent should have. I know if Vincent from our friend chapter, he probably had, or I heard from Rob that he had announced like a lightning talk related to his open close city. So I don't know,
Okay.
Vincent, if you're ready and if you want
Yeah.
to, you know, maybe show your. As we are closing the soon the
Mhm.
hour, but let's see if he's not responding, then maybe we can continue. or somebody else maybe has something else to
Yeah.
share. Oh,
I
I
mean,
see
just
also, yeah.
last few things. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't have them to show, but I do have couple skills that read the elk and read the century. So basically, that.
Could you share? Do you have a sample repository of the approach that that shows the approach, your SDLC approach?
I need to make one because problem is I cannot share the one I showed because
Mhm.
lots of them have like sort of a customer, like because these are real things for customers. I need to make one sort of that's open because I don't
Showcase,
think
yeah. Create one
yeah
showcase one.
the showcase one. I mean, I was gonna showcase because when I was started developing, the very first skill I developed, it's the one that refuses to code. So it's a set of agents and skills. Like every time you try to ask Claude to write code, it will give you some like weird excuse. It would say like all the code has to be done through engineering department, and then if you ask it to ask engineering department to write, then it's so it's one of these bureaucratic, but it's actually pretty when you start developing the skills in agent, it might be good educational one how you develop those. If you can sort of break out and make the code to write code, because it would not outright refuse. It would give you like very weird bureaucratic excuses like why we could not.
like having a true bureaucrat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever worked in 10,000 people or a government
no, thank you.
organization, and you try to do something like it's you know what you get,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, yeah. So maybe I need to kind of package and present it. Yeah.
Oh, Nate, do you want a quick demo of? I see a message in the chat.
Yeah, I could do a demo in like 5 minutes. I'm just finishing up lunch, but if someone else wants to go,
Okay.
someone
Let's
else wants
see.
to go first.
I see
Yeah.
Crossman has his hands up. So
Hey guys, just like I was just going through the reports and there's some issues which I already found earlier, but man, it's bonkers. Like it did a really good job understanding these things. Like I had 3 massive files which are exceeding 5,000 lines of code. I just haven't. I did a refactor on a private branch, but it was breaking out a bunch of things. So I didn't want. I couldn't release it yet, but I was very happy that it found 3 things because I didn't expect to find 3 things, which is obviously my testing is the cyclomatic complexity and this oh shit, I forget this another term is oh no, the concise complexity. So basically is how concise your functions are, basically because humans cannot read massive amount of code. And what I absolutely love this, which has got things which I didn't think of from the from like third-party integration systems, is like there's some functions which were connecting to so many other one which had a more deep complexity across multiple files. I didn't find that actually, but it found it, and it's just like, hey, like why can't I just put this it as one module under one folder? And this is like I mentioned that like my code is very clean usually. Like I mentioned it's very well aggregated, but this found such a good bug that it was cross-pollinating across 2 folder structures. And I absolutely loved that find because that's an old deprecated version of my previous attempts.
Hey,
And I
Dragan,
moved my folder structure.
is it used to be old metrics? They removed it because people didn't know how to fix it. There was a metric called cohesion. Is it the one? Is it the one that Krafton's talking about?
No. This is the complexity one, but the one and these agents for this agent you can thank Mondvip. So that was his first, he was the first contributor to the QA fleet in the beginning, I think somewhere in the October 2025. He created that agent as a showcase, like how to contribute to the QA fleet. Using Claude to create that agent. So I even didn't, instruct it to create that kind of agent. So thanks. This is where the community adds additional value.
But you know what the cohesion metrics is, right?
Yep,
I think
yeah,
that's when you have the okay. That's good.
I just wanted to shout it out that did a phenomenal job on finding like 50% of the bugs which I never thought of, and the 50% was like I knew it was in my backlog, but 50% were really genuine cleanups because I'm a person who loves clean code a lot. And it's just really accurate on finding which packages have run clean code and which packages are unnecessarily bloated. That was my response time great. So I'm absolutely loving it. And it also found how you can improvise my code across my bindings to other languages by reducing the unduplicate code, which I haven't thought of. So I'm not going to
glad
do
to
the
be of
fixes
help.
immediately.
Glad to be of help.
The thing is, all the reports this game is like so much massive breaking changes. I'm like, oh shit, I can't touch this. I have to go one by one. But because if I fix it and just say, hey, Cloud, don't
And
fix
this
that,
was
I'm like,
like a 20 minute scan, right? So we can do a deeper analysis. This is just like a just a small piece of the scan, but yeah, you can go deeper now. Just install it and ask it to dig deeper.
no, I would probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up as a GitHub action instead. So I'll just make it as a long running GitHub action and create reports at the end at each PR. Like this became a blunder because I had multiple PRs and I just ignored it way too long because I was like, I want to ship it first and get users, then I'll clean it up later. But now, like with this thing, right, I'm like, oh shit, now there's some users who are using it, and I need to now start shipping clean code. And even if it starts getting PR reports, I can review my code and then start giving feedback to it. And like I just say, like, hey, another agent just start creating another draft PR on based on this feedback, and I'm more than happy to manually review my code. So I am still a little bit of a hard coder. I I handsmith my code a bit. My code are handcrafted a bit, so I'm a little slow,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah,
loving it.
You're a craftsman, right?
yeah. I'm just interested. So like I think like 2 weeks ago, I had like a 2 day stretch of coding without talking to any agents, and it was very. I haven't done it in like year and a half or something. It was very interesting experience. Like anybody had the same one? Because what I noticed is when you code with the agents, you don't get any insight of how the things work underneath.
Yes,
But
I absolutely
And
get.
I'm trying to let it go. So
but I tried. So the
that's my
reason I
thing.
was okay. So the reason was I doing it. I was actually it was more like in even not even code. It was in the Jupyter notebook. I was trying to understand how transformers actually work
Mhm.
because I knew like I read tons of math books and I was like saw the whole this agents pipelines. But what actually happens? It was kind of like mystery, and you learn a lot by actually just running them, and you learn a lot by observing. Like you think you know how they work, you try to write a piece of code, and it doesn't work. It's either like explodes or it creates something you not expected, and then you go and figure see like why did it happen, like and things like
That's
that.
the most truest statement. Like I'll give an example was this has something called workflow streaming. You can have multiple nodes to do for LLM
Mhm.
streaming, and then you have intermediate tool calls that is also capable of streaming. And I asked like, hey, Codex, I've implemented this manually in Python. Could you literally recreate this for JavaScript for Node using NAPI? That's a library for bindings, and do the FFI bindings for Golang. It did a phenomenal job with Golang. For Node.js, it didn't work at all, and I was like breaking my brain. Then okay, let me go in, fix it, and for 6 releases it worked perfectly fine, and the eighth release it didn't work, and I really didn't know which commit broke it. I was like, oh my god, because like if I hadn't crafted the code, I know where it wouldn't break. But
But
again, it
that's what.
doesn't mean. Sorry.
No, which commit broke? That's what Git bisect is for, right? I mean, I found it.
Yes, I found it to Git bisect, but the thing was no. It was like I'm thank God there was not that many users at that moment of time, but now there are more than like 3,000 downloads a week. So now
Mhm.
at this point, I can't do a massive breaking change and just like whoever is using it in their edge function saying like, "Hey, dude, my streaming is not working. My auth keys are getting leaked," and that shouldn't happen because it becomes a blunder from my end. And now I'm like, I've realized two things. When I'm using agents to code, just create a markdown file. Like, this is my approach. This is how I'm going to solve. And I probably what I'm typing is going to be 20, 30 lines of code. I mean, 20, 30 lines of markdown. But the thing is, no, the effective function is probably 300 to 400 lines. But the thing is, the best part is these agents understand my 20 line to create the 300 line object. And if you see, my net productivity gain is actually massive, because I just barely spent 3 minutes, which should have taken me at least 30, 40 minutes to create that entire function if I'm handcrafting it. This
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
one thing which I have personally loved, where I'm having a hard time to do detachment, but this is some way where I'm not detaching 100%, while I'm also very much in the loop, because I know that like
Yeah.
that by what is the 300 line function exactly, and I
Exactly.
obviously collaborate with it.
Right. But that's what the P in the Spark for, right? Is a pseudocode, like, and it's,
Yes.
because I had to
And the models understand better pseudocode, for instance,
yeah,
and you
I
can
had to
condense more information in it than in
yeah,
the regular
yeah.
text.
'Cause I had to fight with Claude a lot to tell it not to put actual code in the plants, because before, like, it was putting the actual Python or JavaScript code in the implementation plants, and it was impossible to review. I basically have super strong prompts that says if you put any code in the plants, it has to be less than 7 lines and super high level pseudocode, because you can actually look at it and you can review, and then you can ask the quality agent, hey, does this actual code, does it match what was intended, like, originally, right? And it's
Yep. Anybody else? Something to present? Nate, are you ready? Have you finished your lunch?
I had to leave.
Oh, he needed to leave. Okay, okay.
we will
Have a
try that.
demo.
I can share something about my test run. So,
Yes, yes, yeah, Madhvi, go, please.
so long story short is that a few weeks ago, John O'Hare and we chatted on our London chapter about something of an idea he had about an app called Driftwise. I mean, when you're driving down and you kind of cross obviously different parts, generally we don't know, it's a boring drive, right? There's nothing, just driving down the motorway. But the power of the GPS about where I am currently and what that GPS tells me about the history and the culture of that particular location. So they said, what about if we could drive down and basically have someone tell me where I'm going? What's special about the space? So let me just do it visually for you so it's easier rather than me talking. So I'm going to quickly share my screen here. Is this one. So if I go here and right click here and
You
share my
still, you need to share.
I am going to right click and share my screen now. Hopefully you can see my screen now. So this is
Yes.
why, so the long story short, I went down the drive around Cotswold, Oxford, and this area, and that basically unlocked potentially 2000 years of history, which is like what I did, like right from the Roman industrial might to, like, I'm basically on a motorway and the country roads to Cold War secret tunnels, and then where penicillin was discovered, and then to figure out about what happens in some of where aviation was Buffalo aviation, for example, Farnborough Common, the photography where the first negative was taken using a lattice in an abbey called Lalak Abbey. So this is a simple app. What it does basically is this one. If I go here and I go to well, it's actually Driftwise. Am I saying it? No. So I just have to go to my Netlify site, netlify.com, and then I've got to attach a Superbase database behind it. I don't have a database at the moment, so I can capture this information. But if I go down to my second page here, which is over, sorry, too many sample bits that I have been working on, but I think it's the next one then. Yeah, go. So it's an app. You can try it yourself. So Driftwise, discover interesting facts.netlify. If you just say start discovery, so obviously I'm at my home at the moment. If you give it a maybe 30 seconds for it to figure out where I am, but and meanwhile, what I show you, there you go. So it figured out that I'm at Cobham Mausoleum. Basically, it's something interesting about someone here, and it will keep figuring out new items which you can export as a JSON file currently. So what I did is that my disk drive, I kind of moved it into this, which is, I'll play a few seconds for you.
So yesterday I was just on a drive.
Okay.
Real. This is from my drive just yesterday. The app is called Driftwise, and it's so cool. It just runs quietly in the background on your phone, uses your GPS to see where you are, and then it feels like magic. It starts revealing all this amazing history of the places you're just passing by. And what it found for me, well, it completely changed how I saw my part of the London commuter belt. But almost immediately.
So that's all
it
it
stretches
is.
back
It
thousands of
comes up
years.
some interesting things. I'm going to play it all. But
Battle of the
that
English
was
Civil War.
what
The Hungary was
was
completely
a
shut.
quick show and tell about what Driftwise is about. I was thinking like, this is great, because if I can put this in the hand of people and they are traveling around, if we capture all that, it's all GDPR neutral, right? We're not taking any personal information here, but all the trips that we are all making, you know what, that is very interesting, because that can have lots of interesting potential out of it. So yeah, I took it on a 10-hour drive the other day.
But that's you need to drive through places where there is something interesting happen. So if you like, and that's actually recorded, because if you're like Australia and like outback, maybe something interesting happened there, but it's like never been like recorded. Like,
I'm sure it'll find out something. I was quite surprised. Like, I found like Burlington Manor. There's this place which I never realized has a 22-mile underground city. It was built during the Cold War, basically to house, and it has got its own gymnasium and everything underneath. And it's a nondescript-looking manor house sitting in the Cotswold countryside.
But anywhere like in Europe and Asia, it would work. But if you start going to like Australia or like parts of America, so like Canada, there is no records of any. I don't know if anything happened, and there is not much records of anything like.
Human
Probably
recorded.
going to get that done.
Hmm?
No, I do that in my this one. So Mandeep, I did it in a very different way. I was going for a pilgrimage trip, and anywhere I was camping around, I used this Gemini 3.1 live share, and I said like, hey, like I'm going to this place. Can you tell me 3 fun things to do here? Because like we were taking multiple breaks. When you're going with a lot of cousins and family trips, right? It's very difficult to find things to keep all the kids and your young cousins engaged. That was an absolute game changer when I was using Gemini 3.1 like live share. And I was like, just get me something. I can't deal with the kids all the time.
That reminds me actually also about if anyone of you explored like I mean in Tesla they've released Grok as a recent upgrade, and I was trying it out the other day, and it's pretty good because you know what, they built this thing called language tutors, so you want to learn a new language and it's very conversational, or like it's not as clever as like it can't send you an email, because I was trying to test it to the limits. It wouldn't do it. It doesn't have the MCP capabilities in it yet. But yeah, I mean, if you, it might be worth trying it. I think I found it much better than Gemini from a conversational point of view. Really good. Yeah.
You know, fun thing about Grok, that was the one which was actually the new LLM used for finding the cure for dog cancer. Like one guy, it was actually Grok. Many people started accrediting it to ChatGPT, Claude. It was actually Grok apparently, and that guy was calling it out so much in Twitter, nobody noticed it. After some time, a couple of the mainstream media found, like the big Twitter guys found it, and they're like, they started reposting it. Then it became like shit. Grok is the one which found the disease, and he shared the logs. I was like, damn, Grok.
But interesting. I found for daily conversations, like even in English, actually, the recent Chinese models are somehow very good. Like they feel like more like human for some reason than the.
Okay.
Distillation.
I think it's distillation. I don't know what it is. Yeah, but the recent like and it's very cheap. Like it's like 100 price of like the like GPT-5, but the I find them like very conversationally, like
they
good.
filter down, most of the yeah, nasty
No, but
things from the language.
yeah, actually, lots of censorship is not really in the model itself, but in that layer that sits between you
in
and the
between.
model, right? So if you download the actual model, because the actual pretty small too, like it's so you can run them like on 20 gig GPUs, like
7 billion parameters, then
yeah. I mean, so if you quantize them to something very slow, small, like it's. I think they're bigger than. I think there is 20 billion. Like they're bigger, but they're not
they
like.
are more, 20 billion one. Yes.
They're not ridiculous like what they.
Craftsman, you want to share something?
No, I had something to share,
Mm-hmm.
and this is related a bit to simple agents. So let me share my screen. So I've been working on this project called Simple Agents, and I got some
You're
couple of
sharing Zoom
interesting.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I got a couple of interesting requests from some people like, hey, Rishabh, I really want to use this thing because I want to iterate my agents quickly in LangGraph because Langfuse, because many people are using Langfuse apparently. And this is a very simple project. Let me share my terminal as well. Let me give you a second. Wait, I had to, come on. You know what? Just going to get hosty here. 1 second. Why it's not
Mm-hmm.
opening? Yeah, 1 second. Give me a second. Apologies. I'm trying to access this one. Simple agents, and let us do one simple command. Here, make run, let's say Python chat history. So this is just a simple chatbot. It's like a template chatbot. Give it a minute. It's compiling the code. So every time it does a very fresh build. So like it's for my debugging purposes. Um, but the thing is, how can I help people to build agents and evaluate agents very quickly? And this is a tool which I've been. This is something which I've asked when some people ask me is that I want to see how my agent behaves, and this is the thing. So you can see how your responses go, and for each input you can see what's the input, what is the draft email, what is a subgraph, like so meaning you can see which configuration is also being used. You can see how the nodes are generated, what are the statistics coming from everything. And the best part, I think, that person told me is the human annotation tool. So I can just start adding data sets here, and you can start fine-tuning models from your traces. So I can just come here, select some traces for the last 6 hours and import them and to my data set. So you can see actions, add to them to my annotation queue. Oh, apparently don't have an annotation queue, but this is something I really wanted to share to people on how people can start using simple agents today itself. It is just as simple as you programming one simple YAML file, and then you're done. I'll just probably show how well that code looks like. Oh shit. Give me a second. Uh, Backend. No, not this one. This is a simple flow. 1 second. Exit. Oh, it's here. So too many coding terminals. My bad. I have too many terminals open. It's here. So you can see like any workflow just looks as simple as this. Workflow email is the second code. So this is literally one agent. This agent is basically an HR agent to draft emails for the HR on behalf of them. And all of these are also integrated very much into something called simple memory, which is basically the stack where we can load any complex memory systems. And this runs entirely on open source models. So I can just see like if I ask about Lebec, it just says, and this is like one very complex case I asked, like, hey, can you tell me a very complex case about where a person unreasonably sued another person? Over here you can see how it understands the relationships of people and how is Lebec related to each of these things. Like Lebesgue is related because was doing McDonald's and he extends to McDonald's restaurants. And the person whose name is called Stella Lebesgue. And you can just see all the tag entities. So in anytime in the future, if you want to ask any information, right, you can just go here and you just find all the related entities related to it. So you can see it's related to this date, February 27, 1992. Why I find this is very important to embrace with small language models is you're dealing with a lot of complex information like RAG and everything, and you want to extract all the entities. And let us say if you're a detective and you're finding, tell me everything which happened on 1992, February 27, 1992, because you might try to correlate cross relational cases. And I think like these types of tools will be really cool for detectives and doesn't put a massive strain into open source models because all they needed is to dump an entity rather where if you want to have opus 4.6 it will go and do a sequential analysis. So this is just a small project. These two projects are very much open source. They run on very much on open source LLMs, and if you want to make them HIPAA compliant, but I think this is one project I've been working on. But other counter products work really well only on closed source models, like if you're using Gemini or all those things. But this is built entirely on a 120p parameter model of called NVIDIA Nematron 3. So yeah, I just thought to share these two stacks, which has been helping me and helping other people to ship agents to production very quickly, and they don't even need to worry about, hey, I want to configure my RAG, I need to do this complex things because this all
A
happens
question,
implicitly.
Craftsman. So
Sorry. Yeah.
Langfuse, just for those that are not familiar with that, can you explain more like a Langfuse role in this?
Yes. So Langfuse tool is a tool for telemetry, which is a beautiful tool, YC funded, where they trace all the activities of your agents and see how the agents are performing really well. And if you want to start creating data sets, right, this is one tool which I would recommend after using it for a while to how quickly you can generate data sets very quickly. And you can just see that you can come into the humanization dataset. I'll just create a new queue. I'll just say Agentix Foundation test. Create queue. Let us say, let's do something. Add a new scoring config. Um, human empathy, because we were dealing with this one, and this helps with a lot of these things. But also I have a custom stack which does all these things through the control plane, which is called Simple Flow, which does exactly what this does. But some people ask me that I have already an enterprise license, so could I just use that? And I was like, hey, okay, chill, man, let's do it.
Hey,
So
wait.
this is about this one.
Yeah. Hey, Craftsman, have you looked at other tools? I found the Langfuse like quite expensive actually if you run it like yeah, and the only one I found you can run yourself, it's the and actually presented here, it's that Arise Phoenix. Like, is there any
Yes.
something that Langfuse does that Phoenix would not do? Like, because
I think both do the same. I was also a big advocate of Arise Phoenix because of its licensing terms are much lenient to small companies. The thing with Langfuse is just much more of a mature product. And I just tell one thing for a use case which I can't share logs is for more than like we have dumped more than 2.5 million logs.
yeah.
Since Langfuse is built initially, they did a mistake of building entirely on a SQL based stack, which is terrible when you're having like because traces can go for a couple of 100 million when you go enterprise, and Arise does not suffice for a couple of 100 million. And these guys did a good job of saying like, hey, we're going to keep SQL, but we're going to use Jaeger with ClickHouse. And I'm a personal big fan of ClickHouse because my
Yeah.
native integration of simple agents initially was Jaeger ClickHouse because I cannot. I am a very impatient man. I think in this area, everyone are very impatient. Clickers just gets into me in the snap of a finger.
Yeah, I like
Because it's
ClickHouse.
yes, because it's a columnar index
Craftsman,
database
can you
for
share the
people.
link to that you just mentioned? Because I heard first time about that. The
ClickHouse,
last, yeah,
Jaeger ClickHouse. Yeah,
yeah.
let me show you the database. Give me a second.
Yeah.
And I'll share you the config I'm using. It's open source, the config. So I'll share you the config which I have done. It's really good for me. Come
Thanks.
on.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
really fast database for a large amounts of data, right?
Yeah.
Extremely fast.
Yeah, I would second ClickHouse is pretty good. ClickHouse, that's what drives to like Sentry, like if you use Sentry.
Yes. Yes.
Because that's the first time I found about it. And actually, that's speaking about Sentry, it's not as sophisticated as Langfuse and these things, but it does have agent tracing capabilities that are like not very bad. So if you write an
I think,
agentic, yeah, I usually send to Sentry because you just get very high level kind of statistics, but they useful because if
no, I think from statistics, I love PostHog. PostHog has been the best tool for me. I've been integrating it with
what's it
SimpleFlow.
called?
PostHog. PostHog. Beautiful tool.
PostHog, I
Please,
heard it.
yeah, one of the best tools I'm using it because when I'm like trying to ship a simple flow to people, this is what I've been using to emulate scenarios because this is something I've been doing, and yeah,
looking at PostHog, I like the website.
yeah. So
yeah,
this has been what I've been building.
What's up with this 80s kind of aesthetics coming back?
No, I need to give a massive shout out to them because it's not breaking my bank. Like many of these analytic tools are expensive. I probably had to spend a couple of $1,000s a month. And I mean, when you're enterprise, right, it makes sense to pay a couple of thousand. But I'm a single person, so yeah. But yeah, people, if you're interested, if you like the repo, please start it. Please use it. Any feedback, let me know. I'm more than happy to ship feedbacks within a couple of days. I got a couple of feedbacks. I've been shipping feedbacks, and I'm accepting pilot customers at the moment. Like ship, I want to just pilot customers because I want to battle test my product at the moment. It's like simple flow, simple memory, simple agents. So if you are interested, please feel free to reach out to me. Because this intent is just purely like I need to do now is customer centric user acceptance testing, and anyone using enterprise solutions, feel free to test this out.
Hey, Craftsman, what you use for your graph database? Just curious.
So behind for simple memory, the request was I used two simple databases. One is SQL and one is Qdrant to keep it very bare minimum and simple. But I do also use Falcor DB and Lance DB as integrations. Like if people do not want to use Qdrant and I want to use Falcor and Lance, I do support that integration as well. And one interesting feature which I think is an edge for this is right. You do not need to set when you have two entities, right? You do not want to set up a linear relationship like this derives a value from this. But also what I have is something is just came from an idea from a conversation was you can even set up a ripple effect based graph. Like I'll give an example. Rishabh likes coffee, but if you consume more, and if Rishabh consumes more coffee in any given day, more than 20 cups, he's expected to be sick. And like if it has a daily log of this compute of arithmetic, right? And I can set up in a secondary relationship if n equal coffee for this date greater than 20, because while establishing the relationship, it does this compute itself. Date plus n sum coffee equal to 20. This guy's in the hospital. And why I did this is because one day I want to build a truly personal AI assistant which has true memories. And I think if a database is able to intelligently do a ripple effect of computation, right, without an agent doing it explicitly, I think that's a very cool use case to me, and it doesn't put a massive strain on open source models because I want to minimize the strain on open source models. They're not smart, so how can we now be smarter and help them to be smarter?
So your graphs are pretty small. They're not like hundreds of millions of nodes, right?
That is that's a limitation at the moment, but I think I just need to spend more time to make it more efficient. Like I can do isolated compute, there are many techniques, or I can just do bulk compute, meaning when the computers had to go and do a bulk computation of all the Ripple nodes. I do not have an answer. I just got it this week, this idea. But I'll share. I'm happy to share my benchmark. I'll be benchmarking simple memory soon, so it'll be a
But
public
actually, you
benchmark.
also mentioned about coffee. That's you can get into sort of dangerous territory because caffeine metabolism is very weird. You can actually train yourself, so that is not a fact. If you have 20 cups of coffee, you go hospital. because you can actually train.
If you
to
develop
verify.
resistance to it.
You develop, and it's also reset. So if you if you can drink 20 cups of coffee, but then you quit for like 3 days, then you will go to hospital because your whole thing got reset. It's very time dependent and on the prior kind of what was happening the last 3 days. So it's
Yeah, that is the intent.
yeah, but I'm saying if you making, it's important when you're making this type of assistance that have to deal with biology, you need to be careful with the time component because
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I need a lot of work to do. Like, I need to configure how to establish relationships. Like, if you're dealing with biological, this is the way you need to establish relationships. There is a lot of work to be done, honestly. And since I use simple agents behind the scenes, right, I can set up a massive decision tree to how to
yeah,
ingest memories based on the type of memory you're consuming.
yeah,
So
but
currently it's just a little bit one simple agent. I want to set up a swarm of simple agents behind simple
yeah,
memory.
but need to be careful, yeah, because lots of these knowledge graphs, the existing sort of techniques, they deal very poorly with the facts that depend on the time, because they kind of usually take there is a fact it's been true last week, it's also true today, which it might be or might not be so it's
time dependent.
It's
states.
not even, yeah, it's time dependent. It's really it's another dimensions so the facts travel through it, and some persist and some don't, and you cannot actually delete them from your knowledge graph because you need to talk about what happened last week. So it's so you cannot have a knowledge graph, you cannot have a fact that says this person is alive. If you looked at the Wikipedia and stuff, they have the facts that there's a birth date and there's a death date. So if that date is not recorded, that's you infer that the person is alive. But you cannot just have a boolean there because when you sort of query like 5 years ago, right? If you're in that time frame, that person was not alive. I mean, it was alive, right? It's not dead, right? It was not born, So it's very hard to record the time kind of changing facts, the change in the state.
Guys, we are over 1.5 hours, so I think this was a good session. We were like a backup team for the while the rest of the team is doing some hacking in Vermont. Thank you, everybody.
But a stellar backup team.
Thank you a lot, Pietro. And thank you, everybody, for joining today. This will be, I think this was recorded. I don't know if I was recording or it was automatically recording. Yeah, maybe we didn't record it, but it doesn't matter. It was a good session.
The NSA recorded everything.
Okay, then nice. It will be shared in usual channels. And enjoy the weekend, everybody, and see you next week.
Yeah, same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.